I think we flipped the page here, and we are in the house. Again, think very Ghibli vibes. It is various dried items hanging from the ceiling. It smells like incense, dried flowers. It is fully witched out in here, except for the fact that the entire side of the house is completely broken into, as if a giant crab smashed through the side. So you might have to redecorate.
Hmm.
I have a question. Are the broken panels on the inside of the house or the outside of the house?
So true.
I think it is
Good question.
a very good question, and I think an initial glance will tell you that the crab was outside when all the rubble uh, was forced inside.
Okay, good to
Um,
know.
So the crab broke in,
it seems like the crab
presumably.
smashed
And
into this house.
and on any this, I think that Louis and I don't know how Cynthia's feeling, but Louis and I are very suspicious in this moment. I'm looking for any other rocks like the one I'm holding.
Lovely. I think in
Scanning.
this situation, finally addressing all of you, Sarah kind of slinks out of the shadows from her seeming camouflage ability, holding out a tray of teacups as she hands one to each of you. Um, sugar, anybody? Sugar?
Sure.
I'll
Oh
take some
man.
sugar.
Not. Do you have coffee?
I don't think we do coffee here.
Can I take like two?
2 coffee?
Thank you. I take it
Okay.
from. I take Breeze.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't think I want to drink it.
Lovely. She kind of goes over to you, Forrest, and kind of whispers in your ear for a second. How do you do guests? How does this work?
Well, I think you started out pretty good.
I know, I
Asking what
saw the
everybody wants
tea.
to.
Aiden has told me tea is a good thing.
No, it is good. I think you're doing great. And
Okay,
then I usually ask how everybody's doing.
great. How
But
is
I guess we
everybody doing? Oh
Curious
dear.
about the giant crab. Is
Well,
how I'm doing.
I'll tell you exactly what happened. You see Sarah approach what seems like a half broken desk as she lifts up an envelope. On it, on the back, is very simple writing. It says, "To the Witch of the East." Uh, and she opens it up, and you can see on the inside there is nothing. I received this strange letter, and I am not one to receive many letters. So I was very curious. When I opened it, I saw a rock, the one you're holding right now, and I picked it up, and then I heard the sound of a conch shell. The stone in my hand vibrated almost with the same resonance of that conch shell, and I found my body stiff, unable to move. My mind still working plenty fine, but I can tell you what, this was a coordinated attack, and for what reason, I have very little clue.
and then the crab broke in.
Yes, shortly after.
Do you have any idea what this rock is?
She picks it up and she takes a long look at it, kind of hesitant to pick it up. Quite frankly, I do not, and that is more scary than anything else.
I think I might know somebody who might know a little about that. Do you think I could take it to somebody and have them look at it?
Perhaps. Um, it is of a magical nature, and because of that, and because I know its properties, I cannot have you young folk at risk. I will keep a hold of this for now, but study it to make sure.
But what if it happens again?
Well, here's one thing I know. As soon as it was separated from my body, or a close proximity to it, I knew the effect could be dispelled. It is an instinct I have. It's how I know this magic works. Conch magic, it works on resonance. So the farther away it is from me, the better I can study it without being influenced by it. It's very clear, though, that somebody had a hand in this. I will keep the stone away from us for now. And she grabs the stone and kind of moves it to a seemingly like a jewelry box in the corner of the room as she shuts it.
I think that's making me kind of nervous. And I think I'm like, I don't know if this is the right place to have this if you were the target of the attack. And I know somebody who specifically deals with unfamiliar substances.
Ooh.
So I think I'm gonna have to insist for your safety and for ours that I take that to my boss.
Here's the fun thing. You actually have influence over her. So in this
Can I
situation,
provoke her to give it to me?
it kind of sounds like that. And she's more likely to take your word. So I think the fact that this is even possible is because you have influence. So
I mean,
this sounds
I
like
did save her ass.
you did save her eyes, and
Yeah.
she is special to her child. So
So that is a
plus
superior.
superior. Yep.
This is awesome because that I am so superior.
The lowest you can get is a 5.
That's an 11.
Wow.
Nice.
Awesome. On a 10 plus, they rise to the bait and do what you want. So in this moment, you can see their hesitance, but I'm quite hesitant to trust nowadays, especially. But I know that Forrest is a much happier kid, and I'm sure that might have something to do with you, folks. I'm very grateful. And she slides over the jewelry box to you.
I appreciate you trusting me, ma'am.
Keep it a distance away, though. I'm sure I was the target for this attack, but I don't quite know the motives.
I think that Cynthia very much is the kind of person who like is known as the kind that parents like. You know, like she's always trying to like make sure that parents like her when she's over at friends' houses or something. So she's like, she's like, I really do appreciate this, and I will keep it very safe. And she's gonna like store it away.
Lovely. However, I've been looking at this crab for quite a long time, and there's one thing I can clearly tell. It's not the work of witch magic. This ability to shift the size of a creature, it is definitely a shell-based power, but I'm unfamiliar with any titled heroes with this ability. In fact, I like to think that I keep a good track of the abilities in this city. And this is a very new ability, quite new. If I were to take a guess, I would probably say that Miranda had something to do with this. And this is where I'll ask for some context. In our single unique power game, we came up with the character Miranda Morrow, whose superpower is to awaken other people's powers. Some important context there is that she is the mother of the Kermit Defrog, the
The
child,
frog.
the amoeba-based power that kind of consumed a large portion of the reef, and inadvertently pretty much killed your brother, Louis. So important context I wanted to establish. Are your characters personally familiar with her? And did any of you have a relationship with her child, Kermit? I wanted to know and understand the degrees of separation there.
Do we think Kermit is our generation, or like is
Yes,
Miranda like old, or is she?
I think Miranda is older, 30s, 40s, and Kermit is about y'all's age.
So at the very least, like a fellow student, but I don't know if I was too like close with Kermit necessarily.
So I know Miranda
Mm.
because I heard Sarah talking with Miranda, which revealed that I'm adopted.
Gotcha. I think that's
Yeah.
good information. I think then she's over to this house often enough.
Yeah, I've seen her a lot.
Yeah. Um, the kind of aunt figure that visits every so often.
Yeah.
Would you be familiar with Kermit then, do you think?
I mean, well, the question is Kermit like in juvie? Like some kind of jail thing?
Nobody has seen Kermit since the attack.
I feel like maybe I've seen I feel like if I've seen Miranda a lot like as a kid, I feel like I probably would have seen Kermit, but maybe we were friends. I don't know if we were close friends.
Like childhood kind of sort of friends. Yeah.
Like a cousin that you see once a year type thing.
Heck yeah. Louis and Bree.
Yeah, I am just reading through some of the descriptors we had added. And I'm going to say I am familiar with Miranda because I think she was once very revered, sought after for her abilities to awaken powers. And then the travesty with Kermit happened, the amoeba attack. And then one of the things we have listed was once humiliated by the king. So I think my probably strongest affiliation with her, I think the amoeba destroying is like obviously like a huge memory, but when I hear the name, I think of, oh, she got booed and jeered at, and she's a disgrace and to be laughed at because our king said so. And
Yikes.
I trust the king and I trust Aiden.
And I think that Bree has some of the shortest descriptors, which gives some more like freedom. She's mentioned in a couple other people's. I think it's pretty interesting if I was friends with Kermit in school. Like I don't know if I ever went over to like their house. I don't know if that was the type of thing, but I could see like
sit down at lunch with them.
Yeah, smoking behind the bleachers,
Oh.
like hanging out in that way. And like I know that Kermit's personality was like very manic, very excitable, so I imagine that like I was kind of like a chill, like we would like get into the shit, but then like we could balance each other out a little bit.
I like that.
And then I think that gives my I think of Forrest as almost like a like kid sibling, even though we're pretty much the same age. So I think that probably affects it. Like I've probably heard about Forrest from Kermit as like the kind of family friend, and that was my first introduction to Forrest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I like that. Lovely. So in this moment, Sarah brings this figure from your past up, and she finishes by saying, if you want answers about this situation, I would go straight to the source. She could use some company as well, I suppose, but here, who will be taking this to Aiden? And she pulls out a pouch, inside which you can see like a sparkling bit of powder.
I mean,
Louis?
Yeah, I feel like Louis should carry it.
Do you want to take it?
I think Aiden would probably prefer it if you handed it off, Forrest.
Well, you know.
I do know.
You
I
helped
know
out
that
a lot
Aiden
with
would
that.
prefer it.
Aww.
Why don't we take it together?
No
I
offense.
wouldn't have gotten out of there safe without
I'm not
you.
your mom, so I don't want to be holding hands with the pouch, but I appreciate it.
Oh my god.
Fuck. Okay.
That is
I'll carry
that
it.
is definitely something.
No, I hear that and I just like I take it.
No, I'll carry it.
I'm like, okay. No, I take it.
Forrest has it.
I have the little the hands.
Forrest has grabbed it.
So Cynthia's the rock.
I mean,
Forrest has the powder.
I do want to. It does sound like in that situation. Do you have influence over Forrest by chance, Louis?
Oh, this is so good.
I don't think so, because I think we had a schism last game. Yeah.
One thing, did that hurt Forrest? It seems like you You were influenced in that moment.
I was influenced.
Yeah, in this game, we
I
don't
guess
have to
I guess
resort
technically
to
I was influenced. Yeah.
in this game we don't have to resort to just mechanics. If something somebody says or does affects your character in a meaningful way, you can feel free
Negative or
to
positive.
give them influence.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I think that kind of influenced me to be like, you know what? Screw it. I'm trying to make Louis feel like better. Like I've been trying to help my friend, but it seems like, he doesn't want like any kind of support. So I'm kind of done.
In this moment,
Yeah.
you give Louis influence over you. And I just do want to double check something. You are currently guilty. As a condition, you have a -2 to provoke someone, -2 to assess the situation, and to clear it, if you'd like, you can make a sacrifice to absolve your guilt. Just some fun information.
Why can't we?
I mean, I was trying to.
It's just
I guess giving
nope.
giving the pouch would have been the sacrifice. I'm trying to think what kind of sacrifice.
It's not about clearing the condition. It's about cool choices we get to make and the fun emotions.
Oh, you're right. I'll sacrifice myself.
Yeah.
Forrest
Please,
dies.
please. That is not a
Then Louis has to feel really
valid
shitty.
option.
I do have a question.
Hi.
Since we're talking about this now, earlier Forrest was feeling guilty. Forrest was feeling guilty at the top of this, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
Forrest set up a situation for Louis to kill the crab and save their mom instead of doing it themselves. That felt like a sacrifice to me of like not doing the thing.
That's a good point.
I actually, possibly interesting.
Like we didn't catch it when it happened, so
we didn't
like
catch
that was
it when
just
it happened,
I was thinking about it. I was like, that did feel like a sacrifice for the party.
That's a good point. I really do think that's a great point. My only question is, I'd leave it to Michael to decide. Do you think that's a meaningful enough thing to have made a sacrifice for? Was it recognized? Do you think?
How about this? I'm going to say like it was kind of a sacrifice in terms of like, I was doing this thing that was heroic, but I was trying to set up Louis for like being able to do something. And I guess Louis did save me. So that was kind of a thing. But I feel like the person who actually saved my mom and like was able to capitalize on the opportunity I created was Cynthia. So I feel like the sacrifice wasn't like I made a sacrifice, but I don't think the sacrifice made me feel any better about my situation with Louis.
And I think like most things regarding guilt, a terrible emotion. It is so subjective and usually involves the person that you feel guilty about. So maybe a specific sacrifice regarding Louis specifically could absolve.
Right. Yeah.
But that is that is a really good point. I'm also on the fence about it, to be honest.
I have one more thing that just since it's so nebulous with an emotional response, like I know that the sacrifice didn't work, but are you still feeling guilty about it, or are you just mad now? Like that's kind of. I was going to say
could change it to angry. Like I could go from being guilty to being angry.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. This is more like a mechanics question, I guess. Like the story.
I guess you really could. Here's what I'll say for now. I think we're gonna roll it just so we can move on. You're still feeling guilty. I think the words of Aiden still ring in your mind. You didn't necessarily get the response you were hoping for every successive time you've helped Louis. Like you talked to Louis at the bathroom door, didn't get the response you wanted. You helped in this situation and didn't get the response you wanted. I think to clear the condition, you don't necessarily have to get a response from Louis specifically, but I don't think we've had that sacrifice yet. So let's keep that for now.
Let's skedaddle.
But that is a really good point. If I caught it in that moment, I probably would have allowed it.
Yeah, if I had thought about it too, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it.
Cool.
Fun thing. And it's fun to be guilty. Let's continue on. I think a quest has been given.
It looks to me like we've got 3 objectives. We need to check out this rock. We need to deliver something to Aiden, and we need to get more information from Marie. What's the most pressing? Probably Marie, because we don't want more crabs running around? Is that...
Actually, it's Miranda.
Oh,
But I share your
You're
sentiment.
pulling a Gen
whoops.
V right
I was
now.
thinking about Gen V. Miranda.
Yeah.
That's my fault for giving her that last
Mother
name.
Miranda.
If it's
I
helpful, think of it as Morrow instead of Moreau.
Yeah.
I think Miranda, definitely. I think we should go there. If that's what you think, Cynthia.
I mean, we're already here. Everything else is back at the reef. It'll just be a quick pit stop.
That's fair.
Doesn't Miranda have a store?
It's a failed store.
That's right.
I
It was
think
a failed jewelry business.
Oops.
you
And
all
now
know
I
where-
believe she's devoted, to a church or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this is what Sarah tells you. Yes. Sarah speaks up. If you want to find Miranda, you can find her in the destroyed section of town, near the old shrine. She's restoring it by hand.
All right.
Let's
Of course.
Yeah, that Kermit destroyed.
go. Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
All right,
let's not
gang.
waste time. Let's go.
That Kermit's power destroyed.
Oh yeah, that Kermit's power killed my brother.
The tension in the room immediately escalates.
I say, thanks for the tea, Mom. And then I'm already heading out. I'm like out the door.
Wait, honey.
No, I
Wait.
want to say something to Louis here. Louis, do you remember yesterday when you destroyed a bunch of stands because you couldn't control your power?
I think that was today.
That was today. Earlier today, before we ate all that crab.
I know, that was like a moment shifting moment for me too. Much crab.
I don't expect you to, forgive Kermit for this. We don't know what even happened to Kermit. He could be gone for all we know. But I think everybody deserves at least a little perspective when it comes to the randomness behind these powers.
I know that you were friends with Kermit growing up, but you can't seriously compare a couple of oranges rolling around on the pavement to lives and structures lost.
What I'm saying is Kermit went really, really fast and the power consumed him. And I don't even think that Kermit was Kermit at that point. And I'm very happy that none of us have a power that does that to us.
And the only thing I know is at the same time Kermit wasn't Kermit, Marcellus was no longer Marcellus. So I think it's best that we just focus on figuring out what's happening now rather than talking about what happened then, because our words aren't going to change it.
You never know. Maybe sometimes you try to help people with your actions and they don't respond to it either.
Well,
Listen,
maybe
Listen,
support
Forrest.
and pity are two different things.
All right. Why don't we, I look over at Bree and I start like making a keyboard motion or like singing a little tune, like trying to get her to like maybe one of our top songs, like maybe it's time to...
I think that we need to feel everything we're feeling right now. I think that this is I say that out loud. I think this is a very difficult situation and we've all dealt with a lot here, particularly Louis. And sometimes it's worth it to feel that.
And if you had ever listened to anything I said, Forrest, you would know that shell powers bring nothing but bad things.
Okay, let's go. Let's get out of here.
And she kind of moves forward and kind of grabs you by the shoulders. Forrest, one thing first, you're not leaving this house without your hat. And she grabs, hanging off the wall, a similar witch's hat to yours, made out of this lovely twine, very beachy. This hat represents the responsibility you have for generations of witches before you. Now, I don't necessarily approve of your impulses to search out these shell powers, but I need you to know that this title you have, it bears responsibility, and the thing that separates you from the dangerous people out there is because you are responsible. I've taught you that much, and you have a kind heart. That much I know. So you use that to keep making people safe. Understand?
I understand. And I pull the
And
hat.
she's trying to shift your label. I think she is lowering your freak and increasing your savior. Is that something you want to reject or accept?
Yeah, I'll accept it.
All right. I'm not quite good with these shell powers, but I'm sure Miranda will be able to give you much more insight. Regardless, you guys you all keep safe. I can tell things are not necessarily 100% right now, but you got it. I will, in the meantime, consult the rest of the order. Um, there's trouble brewing, and we need to know why.
I think as soon as it feels like we can leave without being rude, Louis storms out, and you will notice there are some hot tears in his eyes.
I nod to Sarah as we go, and thank you for the tea, and I walk out too.
Lovely. This could be a situation where we again turn the page.
Yeah.
New
Yep.
chapter.
Yeah, turn the page. Yeah.
Lovely. I think you pass a couple of these shell buildings before you see a familiar place, especially to Louis. This is a part of town that you once called home, and there used to be buildings here. Many more, not shell buildings, but because of the great work of Aiden, much of this town has been restored, except for this little corner of the city, where one woman insists that it must be built back by hand.
Before we get there, as we're walking up, I want to offer Louis a hand and a hum. If you this is going to be a difficult situation, I know. Do you want?
And Louis will quietly take your hand
Okay.
and squeeze it.
Do we think that's a comfort someone, or is that just kind of a small little moment before we go into it?
I think this is a great example of a comfort someone. My only question I'm interested in, on top of that, is whether Louis or not actually accepts the power or not. Because you can take somebody's hand but still reject the power.
Whoever said it was you, Bree, who said this is something we need to feel. Louis, you've been through a lot, and sometimes just having somebody validate your oh, that was really hard can just break the dam. So I think after hearing that, he's no longer angry, but he sat with his anger long enough that she told him her name was Grief, and
Dang.
he's ready for some comfort as opposed to retaliation.
And that's the it was offered at a moment where we're gonna have to go talk to someone. Do you want to
get a second?
That's
regain
a
your
mundane
composure.
roll, I believe.
Yeah.
a mundane roll? Okay. Sweet.
9.
So, Louis, you can either mark potential, clear a condition, or shift labels if you open up to Bree.
I get to do that, or Bree gets to do that?
You get to do it.
Great. I'll say, man, I'm sorry for losing my cool back there, Bree. It's just all of this started when Marcellus died, and I told myself if I could be strong enough, if I could be good enough, I could make it so that this never happens again. all I've ever wanted is to be a hero, even though my parents told me I shouldn't, even though I can screw up sometimes. But then to hear Aiden tell me that it's no use, I just feel so lost and worthless lately.
Hmm.
Well, thanks for listening, I guess.
No, I mean, ooh, I think Louis, you're already a hero. That's already happened. You put yourself out there. You do good things. Aiden is very focused on the powers themselves and, what that means for a person, but I think looking at what we've all gotten, it's obvious that a power doesn't make someone a hero. A power can be something truly awful. It's more about, what you want to do and how you use, like, hell, I can't really do much, but I'm here with you. And I'd like to think we're together on this and that we're both doing the hero work. So
Yeah.
Aiden can't make that decision for you.
I guess I did kind of save Forrest back there, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Bree. And with that, my freak is going to go up from -1 to 0, and my superior is going to go to 1.
We're both totally noticeable outside in the marketplace as weirdos with powers.
And with that, I also will go up to Forrest and offer like a pound and be like, clean slate.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Bam! You see,
Save your mom.
While this conversation is happening, can I eavesdrop and attempt to pierce Louis' mask?
Louis' mask.
Because I'm curious because Drip told me to keep an eye on Louis. So now that Louis is having a really vulnerable moment here, can I try and see Louis' motivations and try to understand Louis more deeply here? Is that where this would apply?
I know I am the person who plays Drip, but I also forgot that Drip said that.
That was in our.
I was like, me?
Yeah,
That
because
was
you're the one
my
that's
relationship
close to Aiden.
to.
Oh, facts.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
He asked me to keep an eye on Louis.
Yes. So you can definitely roll to pierce the mask on a plus mundane. Quick thing before then, that lovely scene we just played between Bree and Louis. Once again, Louis has shared a vulnerability with Bree and has asked them whether to confirm or deny that they should be there.
True.
Because Bree confirmed it, you can either mark the potential or give Bree influence over you. Bree already has influence over you, so feel free to mark potential. And you've already shifted labels from the comfort someone, so mark potential.
Can I, since we had this moment, and I did say that I don't have very strong powers and all that, would that count as me sharing a vulnerability as well? I feel like we're opening up to each other in this moment.
Give them influence over you and ask them who they'd like you to be.
Yeah. Like, how can I best support you, Louis? What do you see in me?
I tell you, you say you can't do much, but just then, you did everything. So, thanks.
Lovely. This is such a good game, guys. Yeah. So I think that definitely works. You can either give Louis influence over you, and ask them how which you just did, and mark potential if you show them that person. Yep. And if they're a teammate, add a team to the pool no matter what.
And I believe when you, again, I know we talked about this before, but when you get influence over someone that you already had influence on, you just get a +1 on rolls having to do with them, like a +1 forward.
Yeah, so right now, Bree technically has +3 forward on all Louis moves.
Listen, Louis.
That's bestie.
Like
you're
forever?
my best friend.
Well, I don't think it's forever. I think it's on the next one.
You're my best friend, Louis.
You and
but you
me.
also, I don't know if you've used it.
Oh,
I guess
they
it would
probably
have
used the
applied
other.
to the last
They're
one.
both
Yeah.
in love with
Oh,
you.
next one.
Us, it's bestie vibes.
Yeah.
We do not say that part out loud. Okay,
Oh.
you're piercing the mask, right, Cynthia?
Yeah. So
Okay.
for a description of Pierce the Mask, it's for seeing who someone really is beneath whatever facade they present. It's not just about literally seeing beneath their mask, it's about understanding them. So like watching them, observing them, picking up on their body language and emotions to get a read on who they really are. And it does say you don't have to be talking with them to trigger it.
That is so funny.
Okay, so I'm going to roll plus mundane. That is a 9.
You can ask one of the following questions. What do you intend to do? How could I get your character to blank? And how could I gain influence over you?
What do you intend to do?
Not how could I.
Or no. How about what are you really? No, I. What do you intend to do? Is my question for Louis. And it says when I do that, you may ask questions of them, and their player must answer honestly. So yeah, and it's not like in character or anything. I don't think. I think it's just like what I.
Yeah. What does Louis intend to do?
I think even though Aiden has expressed disappointment or disregard for Louis still intends to win him over because Aiden's the closest thing to like a parental. He I think deifies and romanticizes him as like, because his parents don't really support his superhero endeavors. If he can just prove it to Aiden. So what that means is if there's a chance for me to do something that will impress Aiden, I'll be very inclined to do that.
Gotcha. Okay. Good to know. And that's if you have influence over someone, you take +1 to all moves toward them.
So you can ask all.
So technically that would have been a 10. I think for the sake of time, I won't do it.
Are you sure?
Oh, am I sure?
No.
There's. Look.
Wow. Oh, is that a thing that I can do?
That's a possibility, yeah.
Okay.
So
is it okay if I take the second to do that? Because I have
Yeah.
influence?
The second one, how could I get your character to blank?
So you've question. Just to summarize, you've gained. You asked the first question, right?
Yes.
But because you have influence, that 9 is actually a 10 because you have influence over Louis.
Yes.
Am I correct? Lovely.
Yeah. So I would get to ask 2 more, which I think technically would also change Bree's last result to a 10 if Bree has influence over Louis.
I do. Which I think just means we add a team to the pool, is what that does.
Yeah, you can also add a team to the pool or clear a condition.
Cool.
And I don't have a condition.
Cool. So my other question will be, how can I get Louis to distrust Aiden?
It would have to be something I see with my own eyes that is objectively horrible. Okay. Even if I see him do something that's questionable, I could be like, well, I'm sure Aiden has a reason for doing this. It would have to be pretty terrible and that I see for myself.
Okay. My last question is, what do you want me to do?
What do I want Cynthia to do?
Or, you know what? Actually, I don't think that's relevant to what I'm looking for. Let's say, what are you really planning?
I have ambition and I think I was envious of Forrest's leader role, and I've got a bit of a Teen Titans Robin complex where it's like, I want to be the one calling the shots. I want to have my own superhero name. I want to have my own recognizable costume. So I'm planning on being a major hero. I just don't know the steps I'm taking it to get there.
Cool. Yeah, that's it. Sorry, Anish, continue. Just had to jump in with the rules.
Well, thank you for that. It's a really good reminder, because there's a reason why influence is good in this game. Here is something I'll remind Louis of specifically. The beacon has 4 drives that you're just trying to check off in terms of this game. Your 4 drives that you picked were help a teammate when they most need you.
Forrest?
Pull off. Ooh, that could count. Pull off a ridiculous stunt. Take down a threat all on your own. and reject someone who tells you you shouldn't be here. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
We had. I think we can check off help a teammate when they most need you. You really helped save Forrest's mom,
Forrest.
Sarah. I think that's
Well,
a
I helped
pretty.
save Forrest.
Yeah,
I think
and
somebody else grabbed the mom, but I
Yeah,
came up
Cynthia
with
grabbed the
the
mom.
shoulder weakness.
awesome. So we can mark that out. Lovely. All right. Any other things we want to do?
Let's get into the
Please
action.
continue with your beautiful
Enough
moment.
teenage moodiness,
Awesome.
angst.
You all walk forward through the rubble of this broken shrine. And piercing the broken ceiling is the last remnants of sunlight. You can see above you, peeking out of the ceiling, clouds are beginning to form. Rain is coming. But past you, you can see amidst the rubble a fish tank in which floats a gently gliding nautilus, this spiraled organism with these gently protruding tentacles. And past that, you can see floating, picking up various rocks, the spirit of this large hermit crab. It is slowly, brick by brick, arranging this delicate puzzle that once was this shrine. And that last bit of sunlight streaming through the ceiling moves ever so gently onto the face of the shrine, underneath which, prostrated, gently arranging an offering, Miranda. She's a simple woman, and you can tell that despite her age, she's further wrinkled by the stresses in her life. No laugh lines to speak of, but despite that, in this moment, she gently smiles up at the shrine and turns around to greet the visitors that have entered her home. Not many people visit this time of year, so I assume you have business. Kids, it's nice to see you. And she takes a little bit of an extended look at you, Louis, and gently glances back at that tank and that living nautilus.
Hello, Miranda. My friends and I are here to ask you a couple of questions. Bree, do you think maybe you could, do this?
Yeah. There was an incident. I'm not sure if you're aware. A giant crab. Do we have the crab with us?
No.
We
I don't think
right?
we took it, no.
No.
There's a crab about this big, and I show my hands, and then I say, and it grew about, I don't know, gigantic, ginormous, humongous, and destroyed some stuff, and attacked Forrest's mom, and we're trying to get to the bottom of what shell power could have possibly made that happen. Have you given anybody, have you, awoken any powers of, like, that nature recently?
And I think she just kind of she buries her head into her hands and kind of rubs her temples a little bit. like this is a stress she's growing all too familiar with. I may have familiarity with this power, yes. It wasn't too long ago that a gentleman, he was walking on the beach, and I couldn't help but be drawn to another shell on the beach. I can't really explain my powers other than the fact that it is an instinctual draw. I simply told the man that it's my duty, yes, to inform people at the very least. And he picked up the shell, and well, he seemed overjoyed. I have the ability to tell once somebody gets their powers what it is capable of doing. This man seemed excited when I told him that he had the power to change a creature's size temporarily. But yes, I know the man. He has a stand by the beach.
The jumbo crab guy.
What?
Yes, Jake was his name.
So the shrimp
Gets them so big.
So the jumbo shrimp, it shrinks when you eat it?
But honestly, that's a great use of that power.
They were normal shrimp that whole
They weren't
time?
jumbo at all?
No, that's great. Like, that's such a not evil way to use that power.
But what would Jake want with the Witch of the East?
Maybe it was an accident.
East? I'm not sure. But yes, I'm sure that's the information. What is this regarding? Did something happen?
Yeah, the giant crab.
Sarah.
It attacked Forrest's mom.
She was attacked.
It attacked Sarah.
The witch? That's impossible. The witch is powerful. She could have
Show the rock that you have.
There was an object that had affected her. And I will take out the box. And I'm a bit worried about if I trust her in the presence of this. It's a small rock. I'm not going to open this right now for fear of what it's going to do, but it froze her.
Okay. Well, that would explain it, yes. No, the witches, no one messes with the witches. You're asking for trouble. And you're saying that this Jake fellow did this?
No. But there was a giant crab, so either Jake created the giant crab purposefully to attack, or he created the giant crab on accident, or just he was gonna make crab.
Does the ability come with the ability to control the creature's intentions and actions?
I think that is the case, yes.
Then maybe yes.
I don't. It shrank back down again at the end, so it was definitely modified.
Oh, the effect is temporary for certain, and I think different conditions regarding whatever is turned larger can be well, that can affect the length of time.
Like if you really scared it.
Or hurt it.
Potentially. Yes, all of the above. And you'll remember Forrest, after the crab was shrunk, the giant arm that you cut off,
the arm didn't
remain big.
Yeah. That's why the jumbo shrimp didn't shrink, because the shrimp was dead.
Yep.
Oh.
Did you know who this man was before you gave the power?
I wasn't sure. No, I often don't know the people.
You gave the power anyway?
And she looks a little solemn. And she looks back at the shrine, and the sunlight that once was bathing it has now disappeared as the sky is finally fully overcast. And she turns around to all of you. The nobility in this kingdom seems to think that these shells are a God-given gift, and I am inclined to agree. But you kids, you learn these things in school, but you must have questions. I'm just curious. Do you think that the shells give people power? Or do you think the shells unlock people's inherent powers? Were we born with these
I think
potential?
I want you to. I don't. I think I'm gonna ask her to think really hard about what she's saying right now and which one does she think is true.
You turn it back on her?
Given what, and I think I'm kind of pissed with all this, given what, you unlocked in your son. Do you think that was in him all along, or do you think it was a shell that did that to him?
Are you provoking her?
I think I probably
I think
am.
it sounds exactly like that. That's 100% what's happening.
I'm like, what the fuck are you
I think you
talking
can
about?
only provoke someone though if you have influence over them.
No.
I think
No.
I think this is a moment where somebody's susceptible to your words.
Oh
and
yeah.
She's in an incredible state where she is susceptible.
I ask the giant nautilus and the crab, like, is that familiar to us, or is that like, oh my, what is that?
Wait,
Like,
the
should
nautilus
we
in
be-
this world,
isn't giant,
we'll
right?
we'll talk about in this world, as we talked about in the single unique power game, there's a culture of either keeping your shell or like having like ghost, like ethereal versions of them around. You can kind of insinuate that this spirit hermit crab that's helping her rebuild is clearly hers. You don't know whose shell is connected with the Nautilus.
Wait, is the
the
nautilus
nautilus
regular
is like
side?
a squid looking, it's a squid looking thing in a tank.
Yeah, the squid looking thing in the tank. Yep.
And how large is it?
Pretty large. And if somebody got that power, it'd probably be very powerful. If it had a power.
Oh, if somebody touched the nautilus's shell.
Mm-hmm.
If it didn't already have a power, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to roll superior.
Lovely. Because you're clearly provoking this adult.
Yeah. Because I think that I don't pause enough to figure out what exactly her vibe is, but if she's insinuating that it's unlocking things in other people, which is what I'm picking up, then I'm mad at her for that. Because I think I am strongly of the belief that it's like random.
Lovely. That is a 9 on a.
Can I help,
success.
or is that only in a conflict?
No, you can definitely.
Like use a team?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to use a team, and I'm going to say, it's almost as if you're implying that you're some sort of god here, being the one who's giving them the powers, and you are not at all stopping to consider their personal character. So I'll go +1 to that.
Which makes it a full success. So on a 10 plus, they rise to the bait and do what you want. Here's the list of things you can do. They stumble, you take a +1 forward against them. They you gain a critical opportunity. Or they overreact, you gain an influence over them.
Another thing is that when you provoke someone, you must say exactly what you want them to do out of character, no matter what you're saying in character.
Thank you. Very good.
Exactly what I want them to do. I think, and this is, I don't know what she wanted to do, so this might have been what she wanted to do anyways, but I want her to understand and believe the randomness of the situation. I'm fine with people getting the powers. Like, I think that that's just the truth of our world, and it's going to happen no matter what. So it's not like I want her to stop awakening them. It's just like I want her to, in this moment, cry. Probably. Like, I want her to cry. I want her to
Emotionally vulnerable right now.
Yeah, I want her to
what's
Be vulnerable to me and be honest.
exceptional about this desire is in our single unique power game, a clear thing we wrote about one of the things about her is that she has not cried
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
since she turned her son.
Yeesh.
So
Yeah,
repeat
we
again.
did
Repeat
write
again.
Yeah,
What
I want her to cry.
does it happen? Rules lawyer
Is what
is
happened.
that or do you just state what you
You
want
must
to
say
happen?
exactly when an NPC rises to the bait and does what you want. It means they do whatever you said you wanted them to do out of character.
So I think I was
If
supposed
They
to
do.
say it before, but yeah, that was
If
what
you
I was
wanted them
gonna.
to back down, they do. If you wanted them to come after you and ignore your teammates, they do.
And I think I don't get to choose the other things.
Yeah,
I think
because
it
they are the
just-
ones who choose the one. If you get a 7 to 9, they choose from that list, so they get to pick what happens. But yeah, I think that you just get that.
Bree gets that. Okay, so
That's crazy.
Verb, recipient, desired response.
I think you can see again all around this woman is a crumbled building that she is desperately trying to build piece from piece from piece. You know that Aiden the hero could remake this place, maybe very easily, but this is a woman who is set in her ways, who clearly views the world in a specific way, and is taking the burden on herself to make things right. But you know, Bree, you take one look at this shattered place,
shell of a woman. Sorry.
this shell of a woman, and you kind of pierce through her mask very, very easily. And you see a single tear well up and just trickle down her face. I want to believe that the world is kind, but it's not.
The world is the world. We get to be kind.
Woof.
I think these shells, they really do have the power to do good. I know that deep down, but I can't sleep well at night knowing that I could have done something. Or I could have done nothing. And everything would be fine. Everything could keep being fine. She looks at you, Louis. And I'm sorry. I really am. It's my fault.
It's not your fault. And it's not Marcellus's fault. And I guess it's not Kermit's fault either. All I know is if we don't find forgiveness, loss only breeds more loss. So I hope you're able to find forgiveness for yourself. And I think that's probably all I can bear to say to her. And if it feels appropriate to politely excuse myself, I am curious about this Nautilus.
As you approach, she says, "You're free to pet him if you'd like." But she kind of looks at you a little deeper. That is, I was so excited to finally find a creature such as this, and imagine my delight when my powers told me it was meant for Kermit.
Oh.
Shell that turned Kermit.
Yikes.
I thought I was giving him a gift.
Why do you keep it?
I don't know where he is. I wanted to keep it safe when he came back. And now I think it begins to rain ever so slightly, and she kind of stands in the rain as it disguises what may be even more tears.
Okay. So we need to figure out we need to find a power that can just identify potential powers. That's what we need to either develop that with the witches, but before we do that, we have to go beat up this food truck owner who attacked
Well,
Forrest's mom.
And or check the pumice, the whatever the stone.
yes, and I was gonna say let's go to Cynthia's boss first, get the stone checked out, because if there's some way that somebody used Jake's powers without him knowing or controlled Jake or something to that effect, let's.
Yeah,
they're also side by side.
So
they're right.
He's right over by Drip's place, and Drip said that he knows him, so there's probably some sort of he might have some insight.
Drip said that.
Drip
Drip
said,
I think recommended the place.
Yeah, Drip said to tell him that Drip sent me.
Can I piece some shit together here that I'm piecing as Emma?
I mean, Bree is happy to think whatever Bree thinks.
Can we say we're walking towards that direction?
Yeah.
Are you guys leaving?
Anyone else need anything with Miranda?
I'm down
I don't
to
think
leave.
so. Not me.
I think I want to pull. I want to pull Louis to the side and share what I'm thinking. That
besties.
Well, I can't say it to Cynthia because she's too involved in this, and like then she'll be mad at me. That I think that like why did Drip?
Can I ask? Do you involve Forrest in this conversation?
I don't think I do initially. I might afterwards. But I definitely talk to Louis first.
Telling secrets.
Of just like keep an eye out for Drip, because I think it's kind of odd that he seems to be so buddy with the person that then set a giant crab on someone.
Here's logic for you, Cynthia. If this ever comes up, Drip is familiar with everybody on the boardwalk, and he has multiple like vouchers because that's what helps the business.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, that's what I was figuring.
But he's got his little fingers everywhere.
Are you guys leaving the ruined shrine?
As I'm gonna say, as we head out, I haven't really like said too much to Miranda this whole time because I guess kind of unsure of what to say and like that kind of awkwardness of seeing, even though we're not related, like a family friend that you see every once in a while, especially in a situation like this. And I think I like reach out and like grab her hand and like give it, like hold it in both of my hands and give it like a squeeze as I look to her. And I try to, and I smile a little bit.
And she kind of steps out of the rain for a second. Thank you, Forrest. You're a good kid. Keep a good look over your friends, and you got your cell phones, right?
Yeah.
Keep in good contact, and don't forget to call your mom. Check in. Okay.
Oh, okay, Miranda.
All right. How far away are you guys? As Forrest is staying behind.
Couple paces. If somebody shouted, we'd hear it, but
it was a quick little aside as they're walking up.
Yeah. Like we didn't hear the convo, but yeah.
I think maybe then Miranda will quickly step outside and say, Bree.
Yeah.
Thank you. I needed this. You're a good kid. Okay? She's going to shift or try to shift your label mundane up and superior down.
I think I want to resist that. Because I think the way that I got her to, like, I don't dislike her, but I think how easily I was able to, like, break her is like, okay, I'm not going to take advice from you, but I hope you're okay.
Yeah, happily.
Okay. When I try to do that, where is it? Reject influence. I just roll basic.
Yep, just roll and add nothing.
Fun.
Oh, another thing.
Ooh, that's a miss.
Really quick, another thing that I realized a second ago about the rules was that I was wrong. If a PC gets would get influence over another PC that they already have influence over, they don't get +1 on that one. That's only for NPCs. That if you get influence over a PC you already have influence on, you immediately shift their labels in some way.
Oh,
I don't remember,
lovely.
like, this has
Yeah,
happened
we
multiple
can't go back
times,
and do
but
that, but cool.
if that happens again, that's what happens.
Do I have influence on her?
No, you could have
Okay.
gotten it by provoking her,
But instead she cried.
Well, you got a success.
Yeah, I
Full
got a
success.
full
Yeah.
success.
Yeah, so she did exactly what you wanted. You influenced her in the max sense, which is
Yeah.
completely reversing her character, which is great.
I'm asking because that would have made it a success. Can you check?
That's what I've been trying to check throughout this past conversation. I'm trying to see, like, how you can get influence on someone besides saving them, like I did with Sarah. And
Well,
like,
I suppose in that conversation you clearly influenced her by
Yeah.
I feel
provoking
like
her.
narratively
You got influence. So I think you have influence over her, and then this miss is actually a 7.
Okay. So I get to choose
So
one.
you get to choose one of the following: clear a condition or mark potential by immediately acting to prove them wrong. Or you can shift one label up and one label down. You can cancel their influence and take +1 forward against them. Any of those.
I kind of want to. I know it doesn't make sense for a one shot necessarily, but I feel decent about where I am in my journey currently with my labels. So I think I'm gonna. What did she say to me exactly? She said, like, you're a
good kid.
You're a good kid.
The second person in this arc to tell you.
Just tell me I'm a good kid. I think that I pull a cigarette out and I light it in the rain. And I say, I say, your son was a good kid, ma'am. I'm a delinquent, and I walk away.
Hell yeah! I
just
love that.
Marking potential.
And then we flip our page.